Good evening, my dear friends. I am joining in with Janine for our plant success or disaster stories. I have two stories to share with you today, so I hope you enjoy both of them. Please get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and sit down to listen to my disaster stories. Make sure to go over and check out Janine's channel. She does a wonderful job, and she has some wonderful co-hostesses and a lot of great creators that join in for our plant success or disaster stories. Anyone can join in anytime you want, any Saturday you want. Well, we're going to start with a disaster story. As I'm going to say, I didn't find a picture of the disaster, so I'm just going to tell you the story. I bought this beautiful little rose bush last year. I thought it had died, and I was so sad, but I hadn't messed with it. I left it in the container and forgot about it. I was trying to get some containers for the front yard, and when I was doing that, I noticed that the rose bush had come back to life. So I guess it hadn't totally died. So I moved it to the front yard, as you can see. There's no roses yet, but you can see that the rose bush is doing great and alive. My bulbs that were in the same container were also coming back. They still have not started blooming, but they are back. And this beautiful little white plant here in the front, it reseeded itself, so I didn't plant anything this year in this container. This all was Mother Nature's work or the fairies, whichever one you want to give credit to. And as you can see, all three plants are doing great, and I'm so happy and excited. It started out as a failure, and now it came back to be a great success. And look at what a success it is. Look at these beautiful red and white striped petals on this rose. And you can see lots of rosettes coming out. We'll have this thing looking gorgeous in another week or two. Can't wait to share an update next garden tour Saturday. See, don't ever throw things away, even though they look like they're dead. Sometimes there's a little bit of root in there still alive, and it struggles through. So that plant that might have been a weak plant now is super strong. It had to fight its way back to life, and it looks fabulous, don't you think? Leave me a comment, and what did you think about my miniature rose story? Well, we try really hard to do well with our garden, and sometimes it doesn't always work out for us, and sometimes it does. I'm surprised how many plants I think that are dead that have just went to sleep, or they're just struggling, but they still make it back, like this beautiful rose. Oh, I just love it. All the color. It just is breathtakingly beautiful. Have you ever had a rose bush do that? Question mark. Leave me a comment if you have. I had one of my white roses that the same thing happened to, but a gopher got it. Now we're going to also talk about my front yard. I wanted to plant some potatoes. I've never done potatoes, and I heard you could do them in cardboard boxes. So that's what I did. I got some cardboard boxes from work. There's no cost for free cardboard boxes. I did have to get 2 bags of potting mix, and I put one in each of these boxes. It brought it to 2/3 full. And I got some potatoes from the grocery store. I didn't buy seed potatoes. I'm doing it on the cheap end. So the only real expense I would say I spent really was for that potting mix. And then I got 4 potatoes, 4 red ones and 4 golden ones, and put them in each of these boxes. And like I said, never grown them before, so I have no idea how they're going to turn out. But I'm willing to give it a try. And as you can see, I put each potato in each corner to give room for they can hopefully have room for their root system. And these are the tiny potatoes. These are not big potatoes. And these potatoes are all from the Little Potato Company. And that's what I was wanting to grow because they were a little on the expensive side. And it took, if you can believe it, it took almost 2 months for these little potatoes to finally sprout up. I only have 1 in each box, so I don't know if that part got a little more water than the rest of the corners, or if that's all I'm going to get, or if the other 3 are just a little behind schedule. But anyway, I am still happy I had 1 potato for each box. I will be ecstatically happy if I get all 4, but I'm still happy with 1. I thought it was going to be a total failure after 2 months. I didn't think I was going to ever get any potatoes. So seeing something that finally came up makes me happy. Also, I'm surprised that these corrugated boxes, 2 months in my garden, constantly being water in there, and they're holding up too. Another surprise for me. So this could have been a disaster, but I call it a success because at least one potato in each box did come up. Maybe I didn't give enough water to the rest of the box. I don't know. We'll also see if these boxes hold up. Will these plants mature? Because that could be another 2 or 3 months. But I'm still happy, very happy that my potatoes came up. What did you think, guys? Has anybody ever tried to grow potatoes in a cardboard box before? This is my first experience with it, and I really do appreciate that you all stopped by to see my plans for success and failure, because we all have success stories and we all have failures, and that's part of gardening. We always learn even from our failures. So don't ever get don't ever upset yourself about something doesn't work out. Give it a try. Try it again. Maybe you did something a little wrong one way. Maybe you need to be fed a little more. Maybe you need a little more water. Maybe they need to be in the shade more, in the sun more. I don't know how these potatoes are going to do out in the front yard. It's a lot of sun. But like I said, it took 2 months of watering for that plant to come up. So don't give up. I almost gave up after 2 months of looking at just dirt. So don't be like me. Don't get depressed. Keep putting more water in there and pray for the best, because you could end up with a success story like Grandma. And it isn't out of the ballpark that this can happen. So thank you all so much for stopping by. Thank you for all your love and support as always. And I'm so happy that I had 2 failures that turned it out to be success stories, and I was able to share them with you, my dear friends. Come on now, think of something you're struggling with in your own garden. Post it next week. Let's see how many posts we can get. I'm sure Janine would be very happy to see a few more of us joining in on our success stories. Sometimes we don't want to admit our failures, but don't be afraid of failure, because they're not always failures. We always learn from our failures. If we never try, we're never going to learn. So don't ever be upset. I have struggled and struggled growing some things. Eventually you learn. I struggled growing carrots. I have carrots in my front and backyard now. I have carrots everywhere because I didn't give up, and I kept working on it until I found out how to grow carrots in my garden. I had struggled and struggled with a lot of plants, and eventually I do learn, and you will too. Don't get discouraged just because it didn't turn out great this time. There's always another time. Let's reward ourselves with celebration for a wonderful success story. My potatoes came up. Might have taken 2 months. I don't know if everybody takes 2 months to get their potatoes to come up. It took 2 months for mine. I'm going to plant some more in some grow bags and see how that works out, and see how long it takes in a grow bag compared to a cardboard box, or does it really even matter? How do I know? I have some purple potatoes I'm going to grow, and we'll talk about that next week. So hope I get to see you again next week for Garden Tour Saturday and our success stories and failures. Don't be afraid of failures. It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means we're still learning. Hugs and kisses to all my awesome friends. Thanks for all your kindness.